Hi everybody, the movers are delayed, so I'm squeezing this out really quickly. So I beg your pardon, I've tried this 5 times already, so I apologize in advance if I'm repeating myself because this is not scripted. I have no notes and I have no idea what I've already said and what I haven't said in each iteration of this video. So part 2 Hobonichi unboxing, which I've already unboxed unfortunately because that video didn't work out. And so this is a second box, this is a second lot. So I'll entitle this unboxing haul, whatever. Whichever YouTube algorithm understand better, I'll use that word. And so you've seen the first part, I'll link it up here at the end of this video. So this is the second box, contained these two, which I probably alluded to in my previous videos. One of this is for my husband. The other one, I don't know yet. And then we have the Gurunpa in my first unboxing. Again, I'll link up here. That's for my sister. And then I will have my own weeks. I think I need one for my planner, one potentially for my blood pressure. I don't know yet because potentially it would be incorporated in this as my overall medical log. And one for transfer from the cat from this format here, which is the Avec A6 to Weeks. Because as I've mentioned in my previous video, I want to keep the catalogs and I tend to prefer to keep the Weeks as well as the A6s, which is the these ones here. Okay, so let's start with maybe this one here. So part of the second lot, part of the second box is these two. This one here, which is a Arts and Science Hobonichi for Hobonichi by Arts and Science. They're the same designer who did this cover here, which I think is the most beautiful in my opinion. The handsomest, the most handsome cover on a notebook I've ever seen in my life, and I'm not exaggerating. So obviously I like their aesthetics. This color is vermilion, burnt orange, reddish, orange, brownish, reddish, orange. I kind of called it orange. It looks orange, very orange in the website, but it's kind of, I can understand why they call this, I think they call this scarlet. The Japanese has a different, like for example, tan and brown. No, that's not Japanese. That's actually the gallon leather in Turkey. So for them, the brown and the tan is flipped, and I think that in Japan, khaki is what we would green. So that kind of earthy green, they call that khaki. While for me, khaki is the the military brown, the tramping pants brown, that kind of brown. For me, that's khaki. But I think if you buy Japanese products, it is the army green they call khaki. So that's just an example of just naming conventions. So in terms of colors. So this one here, I have never owned an A6 zipper cover leather before. I have been carrying my leather, my A6 while I travel so far, but domestically speaking, I haven't traveled internationally since the pandemic with an A6. The last travel I did, I was very new to Hobonichi and I used one of their usual cover and it got battered around really badly. And also I found the A6 to be too heavy to carry around as a planner. So this, I may be traveling again for medical reasons, usually next year, hopefully. And I'll be carrying my memory keeper, my journal, this time in this particular cover here. So far I've been using a B6 gallon leather zipper cover for my A6. And yes, the A6 is a lot smaller than the B6's room. And I've had a video about that. I'll probably link that up there. In one of my videos, I showed you how I use, it's nothing complicated. I literally use a B6 cover for an A6, which is too big for an A6. But I think Gallon Leather's A6 covers aren't zippered, and I think that Superior Labor, do they have Superior Labor have an A6 zipper covered? I think they may have, but if they have, I think I would have judged the Superior Labor to be too delicate for the way I travel, the way I carry my notebooks when I travel internationally. And so, however, I did mention that the A6 is too heavy as a planner. So this time around, it's a journal, not a planner. I cannot carry a full A6 as a planner while traveling because it's just too heavy, especially on a leather cover like this. So this is my first A6 zipper cover that is leather that I can actually use. A zipper cover like this, for example, I've mentioned to you that on a day-to-day basis at home, I found zipper cover to be tedious. While traveling, I found product of fabric with embroidery like this to be too tedious because it's too delicate. So it's too cumbersome to do this at home all the time because, you know, it doesn't need to be covered at all fronts when you're at home. And at the same time, I can't travel with it because this is too delicate. And of course, the other thing that I found really tedious is having this hanging out like that, even though I know with a lot of people it's not an issue. Like so, you know, for a lot of people it's not an issue, but for me it's an issue because for some reason, I always get this caught in the zipper. So this is just used currently for this old techo here that I'm in the process of moving. There's some notes in here that I'm still moving, all 10 months all I'm on in 2022. I'm still moving some notes from this 2021 techo. And I've been just throwing this into one of these, you know, bags like this. And then it got a bit scuffed. So I freaked out and I put it in this cover right here. So this is the only A6 zippered cover for A6 that I have, Hobonichi that I have, which is a little bit neither here nor there, and it's not really functional for the reasons I just told you. So I'm very much looking forward to doing it this way. In my previous video, this pen loop here got a bit caught when I tried to zip it up. While it's lying flat like this, it is too close to the zipper line and it was caught. And so I have tried it with a pen like this and with a book like so to see that it won't be as, that rubber part of the pen is very, very difficult to go through leather loops because of the friction is really high between them. So if you put it like that, technically it shouldn't go anywhere near the zipper there. There's a little bit, I think you just need to season it a bit so it looks a little bit tight. You see there? I think you just need to just wear out the, season the leather a little bit. So journal, memory keeper is going to travel in this when I travel. The A6 didn't work as a planner. As a planner, it's in my backpack and while I'm on walking all over the place and it's just too heavy. But as a memory keeper, this can stay in the hotel room and it will be carried in my suitcase, which has a wheel, so it's not a problem. So that's that. Second is, I've showed you those already. I can't tell you what I'm going to use them for because medical can be here. The blood pressure may be in one of these. The blood pressure may be in there. I have no idea. But one thing for sure, as probably I've mentioned it, I'm going to move the cat from there to there because I prefer to keep Weeks and one of these. The rest I'm not too keen on keeping. Again, I'm sorry if I mentioned that. This is my 5th try. So I'll put that aside so I know I've spoken about that. I have the A5, which I am sort of haven't really touched for the most part of the year, but I will catch up at some point. I'm not too worried about that. My current 2002 is in this, but I'm gonna test trial this now, so I'll do this now. And a couple of plain ones, just if I like the color of, I usually just grab a couple of plain ones. They're pretty good to throw around without worry. The One Piece, I'm not too familiar with One Piece. Only now I realize it's a manga, it's a anime series. I'm a fan of anime, but my taste is very specific. Jinro, The Wolf Brigade, Ghost in the Shell, Innocence, which is renamed Ghost in the Shell 2 for the English-speaking market, Cowboy Bebop, which has excellent soundtrack. And for you who do not know, The Matrix is heavily influenced by Ghost in the Shell. And of course, The Matrix is now part of our pop culture. You could hardly say a glitch in the Matrix and not have people not understand what that's referring to. So I really like this big one, mainly because I am aiming for the A6, the A5, not the A6, because I want a combination of blue and red. Okay, white, interesting. Instead of all red, which is what the A6 is. I think it's red bookmarks and red front, and I also much prefer the back of this. In the A6, I think the back is like a hat. So anyway, I think this speaks more to the series, I believe, from what I've read a little bit about. So that's that. This one here, I originally wasn't too keen on, and then it kind of grew on me. That's the thing about watching other people unbox their stuff. I much prefer the A6 because the population of the flowers is a little bit more dense here, while the bigger one, the A5 version, is a little bit more sparsely arranged, the flowers. So I think I kind of noticed that each are actually drawn separately. So for the weeks, the arrangement looked different. For the A5 and A6, the arrangement of the flowers looks slightly different. I could be wrong. And I didn't get the weeks because, as you know, the weeks, once you move the date, then you can't use it, while in a cover you can move it from year to year to year. So if I have a choice between a weeks and a cover, I always pick the cover. So that's that one there. So 1, 2, 3, this, and I think where the couple of weeks, the 2 weeks that I showed you, I don't know where I put it now. Oh, there it is. And this. Okay, so that's the second box, basically that I am. This is just to show you how nice this two fit in my one of my previous videos, which angled is too low because I'm in the middle of moving. As you can see, the movers is coming soon, so I'm gonna have to rush this. I left my tripod, and so the angle was so low that you couldn't see anything, so I have taken that down. But in that video, I have actually discovered while filming that this go well as well. For some reason, although this is brown and blue, my mind didn't go to this cover. Of course, and this is why I kind of really like this particular color scheme now by Hobonichi. It's very unlike them, because usually it's more, it's more like this, it's more like that, it's more like this, and this, you can tell it doesn't quite go with all these color, this soft, gentle, pastel, cute kind of color scheme. It doesn't really go well with primary colors either, the strong blue, the strong green, and the strong red. But for sort of vintagey aesthetic, for this sort of leather, earthly, sort of analogy, sort of the days of wood and cotton, and I don't know, it just seems to work really well. So it doesn't always work just because something is earthy tone, like that earthy tone doesn't work there. The earthy tone of this one, which is kind of doesn't quite work, not for me anyway. I mean, you can, but it doesn't, I don't know, it's not quite not for me. This goes really well, I guess. And this I thought would go really well with this, and the bunnies, the bow and tie bunnies, which sold out and before I even get to it, and I wasn't willing to wait for a month for it to be restocked. But that I thought looks really good. And you put can you imagine the bunnies here, the weeks, the blue, brown of the bunnies, this, and that. I mean, look at the brown, it looks really nice. It could fit a more earthy tone of that, I guess. And as I've mentioned, I used to do, carry around the A6 journal like so. So it has a little bit more room. I mean, a lot of room, really. So the pen here, it's a lot bigger than it should, but it actually works really well, even though, like, as I've mentioned in my previous versions of this video, the A's are standardized, so all A6s in the world are the same, but the B's aren't. So this B6 may be measured a certain way in one market, but in different countries, the B6 might be slightly different. And so if you are living internationally, I would recommend sticking to the A's, because all A6s are the same anywhere in the world, or A4s, A3s, A2s, A1s are all the same anywhere you are in the world. They're internationally standardized. But going back to this pen though, I thought this just works really well together, and that's definitely, I've been using it like that. The Tomoe River paper, in my personal opinion, is wasted if you aren't using water-based ink like fountain pens or watercolorings, because although it's lovely with this pen, there are a lot of other papers that are lovely, like for example the Muji notebooks are really beautiful using simple ballpoints, or one of these as well. Basically oil-based ballpoints are oil-based things, isn't it? Like this is Jetstream. I don't know what a Jetstream is. I think Jetstream is a mixture of gel and oil. I have no idea. But yeah, so for the sake of practicality, I haven't been using fountain pens because things have been quite hectic around me. But I would say that the Tomoe River paper is some of the best made paper in the world, but it's a really specialized, it's a specialty paper, and I personally feel like I'm wasting it away by using pens and not fountain pens on it. But you know, functions. Once I'm settled, I'll be back using fountain pens again. But if I have to travel with this, I'm not likely to. But at the meantime though, suffice to say that this color scheme is quite refreshing from Hobonichi, because now it fits schemes like this type of aesthetic is now fitting it, while before it was a bit awkward to have, let's say, a pink or a bright yellow against something like this. But then again, you know, the two aesthetic almost it's like the opposite spectrum of color arrangements, if you know what I mean. But if you don't like it, you don't like it, you know. But people who do not like colors like that, more likely than not, won't be getting covers like that. I don't know. Who knows? So that's that. And for the moment, I have the 5-year like so. The health, which is still ongoing. What is it? And here, my journal, the cat, which may move to a week's. I don't know yet. This is just a cover because I just get it to exchange it with other covers. Same with here. I bought them just because I don't necessarily have an allocation for which book to use this. I don't know. It'll come to me when it comes to me. This is the B6 that I will, now that I have this one here, I'm gonna just put aside for now. I'm in the process of moving notes from here to here. Oh, no, from here to another notebook, and then that will be retired. The 2021 Techo will be filed away, and I have another notebook that is my mother's health stuff, another notebook for some other stuff, another notebook for some other topic. This is the current cat, that is Archives cat, that will be moved to one of the weeks. This is future weeks, future planner, although planning have been moved towards digital for the moment, but I'll give it another week to see how that goes. So cat may be moving here for this year, and that is my blood pressure from last year. And that is it. Bye.